Chapter 16. A killer of a killer is a warrior. The locale ahead appears relatively inert, with Kishnu and Kara having worn their illicit enterprise to a resting halt. One of them maintains a vigilant stance whilst the other lies in deep slumber. My sensory acuity has become heightened, lending credence to Fasima's earlier claims. The Flutora has strengthened my bond with the relics, prompting my to inflate and mature. I discern that Kara is the one that has been assigned the duty of sentry, stationed approximately 6.5 km from whence I stand. Notably, their encampment is not at ground level. Command. Versatile. Mimic Draken. Windwalker. My Draken form envelops me again. In this instance, the features have grown more apparent. I am varnished in scales. The fan has been transfigured into draconic wings, firmly clinging from behind my shoulders. My core is immensely dense, yet nimble, and my body is not under an inflamed stress as I feared it might be. I am stacking and layering more commands than ever before, and it is as child's play. I will dub this stage 2 of Mimic Draken. I can see them without strain now. They are elevated as I presumed, and inside of a cave in a standalone crag. The flickering light of their nooked campfire is plainly visible to my new eyes. I shall put an end to them in 2 moves. Yes, in this form I am as a polished alpha. Command. Line of fire. My cosmic bow bursts into being, larger and more ebullient than ever before. Command. Cloak. I shall execute against them a grave deliverance in a manner akin to when I rained down a cosmic shower upon Hakor. However, instead of a pouring volley, it'll be 3 controlled arrows, directed into the maw of their inlet. Although this is triple the distance of that fateful battle, I only need to draw the astral string further back and simply allow for the winged spears to do their work. Kara shall notice it in the final second and evade. I am certain of this. Kishnu, however, will be in no position to react in time. You'll be out of commission whilst I handle Kara, one-on-one. I shall eclipse and beat my line of fire to them with the aid of my new wings, and greet the scorpion-like Tamasa the moment she flees from the cave. Between the explosion and her frantic exit, she ought not detect my coming, cloaked and already within a lethal range of her. 3 arrows, 2 moves, 2 breaths, 2 deaths. Thus it shall be. I release the bowstring and then propel myself forward with an otherworldly haste just as the 3 arrows grace the exiting window of my bow, surpassing the swiftness of the cosmic salvo to the lonely cliff. I watch from its base as the unseen predatory barrage floods the cave immediately above. Kara leaps from within it, and not a moment too late, just as I predicted. I prepare to launch myself up towards her, but before I can erupt, a fierce, jade-hued fireball swallows and slams her back into the now collapsing cliff. I'd be blind of color or senile at my young age were I not to recognize the tint of that flame. Again he interrupts my battle. Alas, on this occasion he rescues me not. It is more than likely that Kara has been saved ought she have survived his fire.
"Where are you hiding, En? Old friend? I can sense you, but I cannot see you."
Denai howls before flinging 2 more massive fireballs indiscriminately, unaware of my location. The blasts briefly illuminate the surrounding desert with a verdant flush. His demeanor is strikingly dissimilar to what I have previously perceived of him. So much so as to warrant a skepticism of whether or not this is truly my old friend. I elevate myself in flight before revealing my form and freeing my cloak command. Denai takes notice immediately.
"Oh my, would you look at that? Such a remarkable transformation. It's almost as though I've stumbled upon some sort of whimsical renovation, a fantastical makeover."
He chuckles at his own satire, then abruptly pauses. His wide grin transitions into a countenance of disgust. His entire tone flips sour.
"It is unsightly. More so than the Tamas.
Then you know nothing of the Drakin, our guardians? He laughs hysterically.
Oh, why, of course! The giant lizard protectors who live on a floating rock with no food or water who ought to be praised and idolized.
He scoffs. They have no need for food and water, I respond. And I am certain there's never been any mention or instruction that calls for our praising them.
Listen, En.
He clenches his fists.
I'm not sure how you came to look like that. But the capital better not refuse to pay up for your bounty once I have turned you in just because they think you're someone else.
He screams furiously and ignites with a torched intensity. The concentrated fire reaching high into the sky, puncturing a large nimbus above. He, too, parades the power of an alpha. What unforeseen enigma has beguiled him? Is this the true manifestation of Deny, or a mere semblance? This thought cannot escape me. From within the beaming emerald laser, Deny relentlessly fires one scorching projectile after the other towards me. I bring my wings forward and close them like overlapping iron curtains as I reground myself. The blasts, though powerful enough to budge me, do not make me stumble. This heat would have been unbearable had I not progressed the Drakin form. Unbeknownst to him, I have become his worst matchup overnight. My newfound resistance to fire and poison is exemplary.
Why won't you burn?
He bolsters his output. The heels of my feet begin to burrow deep into the sand as the infernal volley hammers away at me. So long as he keeps this up, I cannot move without risking a direct hit. However, I can withstand this intensity until his runs dry. Deny is no longer in my league. I have surpassed his ability, and certainly his competence and patience alike.
Worthless traitor! I went through the trouble of making arrangements with that purple scumbag and saving her hind so that your bounty would grow the longer this panned out. You do not believe I came to your rescue back in Targo Vadra for the sake of your well-being now, do you? I think it's been long enough.
Deny pulls his towering flame, along with much of the surrounding oxygen inwards, and condenses it into a sporadic sphere. Struggling to fight its own containment, he grips it with vigor in front of his core. This could prove troublesome. Within a fortuitous instant, a familiar yet scorched stinger and blood-battered tail burst from under the grainy pebbles below, running vertically through Deny's cranium. His chaotic ball of heat dissipates along with his retreating soul, and the flicker of life in his eyes abandons him. His deadened facial expression frozen by the sting of her paralytic agent. For her to survive Deny's flames. I witnessed the impact myself. It was direct. Yet here she is, climbing from out her successful ambush with fury in her pupils and vengeance as their fuel. She trembles as she recedes her stinger. She can hardly stand.
Yeah, we ought have just murdered you when we had the chance!
She agonizingly screeches, slobbering and salivating with a vehement rage. There's not a chance that she recognizes me in this form, not by sight, at least. She must have a keen sense of smell to know who it is that stands before her. You brought this upon yourself. You sold a capable wolf to a pair of merchants whom you victimized for years. Now, you will die for your money, your greed turned against you as your own treacherous undoing.
Your currency is worthless to me. I take whatsoever and whosoever pleases my eye. I kill for sport, not for mun.
Before she can finish her sentence, I slam shut the distance between us and draw my Drakin claws, pressing them against her throat. She is frozen in her shock at the sheer speed of my propulsion and the realization that she has been undeniably bested. Consider this then a return on your investment, an ambush for an ambush. Is this fair? Or since you so passionately declare it thus, consider this done for sport, and for my claiming of the trophy of this hunt. My pity and condolences be with you, for you do not see the error in your bloodlust and in the conduct of your lifestyle. I say this to Kara, but it is also meant for you, Deny, as you too have succumbed to a deplorable cupidity. I slit her jugular with a swift jab, then dash backwards. She grips her neck with both hands in an attempt to seal the wound, gasping for air, clinging to her plunging raft. Silently, I watch her corpse droop over Deny's, her blood spilling over his shoulder like a waterfall into the puddle of his own. Their colors are the same, just different slightly in tint. Organs and bones, preferences and loyalties, community and relationships. They shared all of these particulars in common. Alas, in the end, they suffer death alone, together, blind to their resemblance, strangers in their cold embrace. The hour has arrived for me to proceed with the segment of this quest which I am most averse. I kneel before Kara and lift her chin up by her muddied hair. Following the slit I made in her throat, I run my dagger deeper into it and back and forth until I've completely decapitated her. Before I allow any feelings of disgust and revulsion to overtake me, I make my way to the pile of debris that Kishnu was buried under. Extending my wings backwards, I bat them once, distributing the crumbled cliff openly. My eyes quickly catch Kishnu's lifeless frame in the midst of the gust, revealing his flaccid anatomy as it is loosed by the gale. I fly over and commit the same atrocity once more, relieving his corpse of its identity. I wrap both of the severed skulls in Kishnu's torn cloak, sling it over my shoulder, tie it, and secure the knot around with his purloined belt, which I buckle across my upper torso. I do not feel like En. This is not his nature. These are the actions and tactics of a warrior who has faced darkness itself. From a sapling, he knew the scent of war. But how do I know it? Is this what I must become if I am to fill Parias's role? The evaporating scales flake from my body and reflect Ara's moonlight. They glimmer as they float away, carried by the soft wind, imparting upon me a moment of clarity and relief. I amaze myself in this way, bringing my awareness to subtle beauties in the dread melancholy, even if only for a fleeting moment, ought be made into an umatic command. Yet I do not need it to be. I guess in this way I still am En. Still, my guilt is present, and I will not fool myself by such an excuse. I am conflicted. By my fatigue, the mimic, Draken, and Windwalker commands come undone. I blow the horn that the twins have given me, and watching overhead, I await the Flutora's unique beat.